When we think of food and architecture, we often imagine them as two completely separate entities. However, this is not entirely true. What if I was to tell you we really do eat with our eyes? Both food and architecture are visual mediums which share a lot in common. Together, we are going to explore the bond that these two art forms have and ask the question, is it purely for aesthetic's sake or is there a deeper cultural connection? Today, I'm in Los Angeles, home of the movie star, Hollywood sign, and relative proximity to the Burbank Airport. More specifically, I'm in Chinatown. Even more specifically, I'm going to a restaurant which truly embodies the history of this neighborhood. They showcase modernism and adaptation through their interior design, all the while being rooted in the idea of accessible traditionalism by having the Chinese tea ceremony be the core focus of their store. Like many Americans, I'm afraid to drink out of anything that is not found in a 64-ounce container. However, I'm overcoming this fear today so I can have a proper experience at Steep, which is located at 970 North Broadway, number 112, Los Angeles, California, United States of America, 90012-1748. I will be trying hand-selected teas from all over China chosen specifically by the co-founders Samuel Wang and Lydia Lin. Steep's goal is to create a hidden oasis where groups of people can come together and experience a commodity which is hard to find in Los Angeles: authenticity. Welcome to Smorgasboards. I'm Owen Dimitri, and I'm going in undercover. Hello.
Oh, hi, Owen.
Can I ask you some questions?
Sure.
Can I have a job?
That's Steve.
Unbeknownst to you, it was me, Owen, all along. Welcome to Smorgasboards. I'm Owen Dimitri.
We already did that.
We did? How did Steep come together?
It's just one time we had dinner and we talked about the recent new trends like the modern tea rooms in Asia. So we both just came back from Asia, so we were talking about the new discoveries. So we were like, why don't we have something similar in LA? So we did a little research and we didn't find anything that's close to what we envisioned. So that's how we started the conversation.
Do you drink other liquids besides tea?
Water and alcohol.
Why? Beyond just the opening coming together, is there another reason why you chose this space as opposed to somewhere else?
I think Chinatown as a whole, in the whole, and China as a whole actually, has kind of lost its luster a little bit. We just wanted to show that Chinatown is still a very viable place for Chinese Americans to open their business.
And we also love the Mandarin Plaza. It has a really nice architecture, really interesting color theme, and it's kind of like tucked in the plaza instead of like street front. So which makes us more serene to do a tea room with you can look out and see the greeneries right there.
How does the tucked backness and the quietness kind of, play into having the tea room and Steep as a whole?
There's a term in Chinese called 世外桃源, which is hidden oasis basically. And we really like that feel because if you walk in here, it feels very un-LA. It's very slow. It's kind of out of the way. You can still hear cars drive by, but it's far enough where it's not really that close to you.
We always want this space to be like a hidden oasis. So everything was designed to be very conducive to like a slow living type of style. We're hoping that people come in will slow down, drink tea, focus on talking to each other or focus on something they want to do, reading. So you can see that when people walk in, they naturally feel like they're kind of going back home.
Once you come in from the door, you can actually see a little console of display of tea. So that's what we use to divide the space. So from the left side, that flow is to order food or order tea and then entering to the space through that area. Or if they want to go directly to the retail, they can come in from the right side of the console and go directly to the retail. So we're trying to use the console to create a flow for our customer, either for traffic or just visually direction to one way or the other. We have a different eyes when we were looking in the space, like how we wanted to do it, but at the end we kind of come into senses that we're going to have something a little bit toned down, not too cold, but then we can keep the coolness in the retail area.
So I'm more of an industrial designer, but I love doing interiors as well. I treat interior like a very large industrial design project. And I do have my preferences, and then one of them is very Scandinavian designs. So very a lot of coolness in the color schemes. And when she told me like this is way too cold, and I'm like, all right, fine. I will let this. I will come along. I will come to my senses.
In designing this place, do you have a favorite part of the interior?
And my favorite is definitely going to be all my plants. You probably know that answer. Yes, I do love to have plants in the space that I'm in. So when you talk about space, that's like the first thing that comes up to my mind as well. Like I have plants at home. I do feel like the plants add a little essence, a little bit more detail, and a little bit more characters to the tea room. So we do have plants everywhere, especially my monstera in the back. That's kind of like the focus point for me.
So you would say that the monstera is your favorite plant then?
That's my favorite plant in the tea room.
You know, most people will generally not want to choose between their children, but
Uh-huh.
I mean,
I
obviously
do
that's
have a
favorite.
favoritism, yes.
That's a favorite, yeah.
We're Chinese people. We always have favorites.
The person who stole my plant outside, definitely that person will be dead.
Oh, they didn't steal it outside. They just took the whole. Oh no, they did take the
They
plant.
stole my plant.
Yeah.
We've made a lot of decisions based on the Hans Wagner white chair, or they call it wishbone chair. And the reason we use that is because it was based on Ming Dynasty design. So it was very meaningful for us to have somebody who took that design and use it in a modern setting. So once we found that chair, I think it was easy to decide everything that came around it.
How has your backgrounds informed the design decisions within Steep?
What we consider 1.5 generation. Like we came quite young, yet we both still were very connected to everything back home. In a way, we don't fit in either places, but in a way, we fit in both places. And we're both fluent in our languages, so like we able to see we able to see certain things with the Western lens, and I think we were able to see a certain thing in Eastern lens, which kind of makes Steep uniquely situated because we end up using a lot of I think I would say coffee techniques when it comes to making our tea, measuring everything and making sure everything is like measured and like proper. But also there's a lot of emotions behind it where it comes from more like an Eastern culture.
You said that you use a lot of the coffee techniques. Those tend to come from more third wave style coffee, I guess, shops or houses. Would you also consider Steep a third wave tea shop?
I considered us a third wave, but in a way, I'm still trying to figure out what second wave was. But
I think boba is the second one.
yeah, I guess boba's second wave.
Would you say that Steep tea is just derivative of boba?
What's boba?
I mean, you know, it's like arguably the most popular way to drink tea in the world.
This word doesn't exist in the space of Steep.
How does tactility play a role in the experience at Steep?
You know, we have tea that you can smell. You know, if you want to pick teas, it's always teas right behind you. You can smell all of it. You can kind of go through and select them all. We have like physical books that you can read. With guides, we have like people that have real physical print stuff that we want to have here. We want people to be able to touch almost everything, and that experience into our retail. It's like everything we use here. A lot of them you can buy here as well because once you use it, you know how it feels like. Also picking out teacups when you're making tea ceremonies. All of these are like adding to like we're kind of like building on top of each other and just saying like, okay, there's more things and more things you can continue to touch and feel.
So first thing first, we're gonna warm up all the teaware, make sure all the teaware have a similar temperature to the tea, so it's not gonna cool down the tea while we're steeping it. And from the pot, we serve to the fairness cup and also called a serving cup. And from the serving cup, we serve to the teacups. We also wanted to make sure that we warm up all the teacups as well. Or discard bowls, so any water or tea that you don't want, you can just put it over here. So now that we're gonna pour the tea leaf in the pot. So we are doing a right pour today. It's from Yunnan, China. We're gonna start with a minute. So usually the first steep is on the lighter side, so you can see like a pretty bright orange color. As you steep, it's gonna create like a deeper color, like almost like a red color, or even like a dark coffee color. And we are not steeping, make sure you have the lid open. and you can pour it to the teacups. We recommend to pour about 70% of the cup, so that way you don't burn your finger since the tea is really hot, and also showing a respect to the person you're pouring tea.
If you were to boil steep down to a singular word, what would it be? And it does have to be tea related.
Sip,
But what about steep?
but I thought you said we need to boil it down that word.
Yeah, we're gonna boil steep down.
So I keep S and P.
What does community mean to you in the context of tea?
The tea itself is not the most important thing as steep. The most important thing is the people that you bring with you, the conversation you have as steep. And tea has always been like this medium to bring people together. So the important part of always it's having those people around you, having meaningful conversations, and not just looking at your phone.
I think the tea and food is just an element of the experience. You get more than just those two. You get the conversation, you get the interaction, sometimes you get a little education. So it's the whole experience that we're selling here.
Sorry, it's a little hot.
Okay?
We're waiting.
Okay. With steep as a whole, as you said, it's really designed to make you feel like you're at home. So are the dishes also curated in that same way?
We always hope like our food will be, even when we do what we call like new or modern Chinese cuisine, we still want that reflect back to what originally was. So when people eat it, it still brings back the memory of eating it. It just looks a little different, or it's some ingredient a little different, but they should still know exactly what it is.
We call this a modern Chinese cuisine. So it's not just my background, but also have to incorporate to his background from Taiwan. So we always throw in dishes that's representing our cultures. So not just Cantonese cuisine or Taiwanese cuisine, and also we're trying to incorporate tea into the cooking as well. So I think that plays a really important role in the tea room for our food menu, which we wanted to represent to a customer that tea can be consumed as a form of like liquid form, but also can be consumed as ingredient or seasoning in cooking.
Do you guys use any other kinds of alternative milks, like breast milk in your tea?
Ooh, that's a tough one. We would love to, but it's really hard to source them. The current challenge that we have is how we balance the daytime tea room versus the sleep after dark, the tea bar at night. I think that's really important before we move on to do the next project, because right now we want people to come in and enjoy the tea while they feel comfortable staying longer, to actually have relaxed tea cocktails at night. Even for Sleep After Dark, we still wanted to create the same kind of atmosphere that you're actually drinking, and you're drinking, but you're not in a club or a bar, but you're actually enjoying something relaxed at home.
So Steep has Steep After Dark. Have you ever considered doing something for people who have bedtimes? Like opening during the day?
Yeah, we have steep.
What are Steep's hours? Despite being unable to answer my question, I think that Sam and Lydia finally realized that they should cater more to the bedtime crowd. Alongside them, I have also discovered a love for tea. Not only is it a great way to get your daily dose of water, but also the tea ceremony has an ability to bring people together. Sam and Lydia have made this more accessible through Steep and its interior design. They present this with a wide chair, the console of teas, and of course, Lydia's plants. In the beginning, we asked the question, is there a connection between food and architecture? Well, in Steep's case, it is the feeling of being at home, brewed through tea. So you know how they do coffee enemas? Have you ever heard about people doing tea enemas?